Are you stressed about your content calendar? Maybe you're trying to get more out of your content and get a month's worth of posts in just a few days of work. Whatever the case may be, stick with me until the end of this video because I'm about to teach you how to create content super fast. I'm going to give you 9 actionable tips that you can take to start turbocharging your content marketing and creating the content that your customers love. I've led multiple digital marketing efforts built on shoestring budgets that get millions of page views, thousands of leads, and generate millions in revenue. So if you're excited to learn about these 9 tips for creating content super fast, hit that like button and subscribe so that you can get new videos every single week that help take you from zero to self-starter. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I want you to do if you're trying to create content super fast is to answer the questions that your customers are always asking you. Create a blog post that spills everything you know about a particular topic. Answer the who, what, where, when, why, and how on particular subject areas. The reason why you want to answer these questions is because I promise you, if somebody is already asking you these questions as a customer, then somebody else in the world is asking that same exact question. So as an expert, this is beneficial for you for 2 reasons. The first one is because you're already an expert in it, and so it's going to be super easy to create. And the second reason why is because you're going to be solving a problem that someone else frequently has in your respective niche, which will then help build your authority in that niche as a leader or a thought leader in that particular area. I'll go into this more in depth in a future video, but inquiry-based Google searches are a great way to build a ton of organic traffic, which can then convert into leads for your particular business. In the case in which you don't have a ton of customers right now, or you don't have a ton of customers that ask questions, an easy way that you can figure out what questions people are asking in your space is to go to the website answerthepublic.com and type in your respective field. From there, you'll be able to see all of the question-based inquiries that are frequently asked in your particular area. The second tip that I have for you in terms of creating super fast content is to crowdsource industry insights and then be the source in terms of compiling those responses into a coherent piece. What you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to collect the contact information of a ton of experts in your field here and then ask them this key question. In one example for me, what I did was I asked educators what their #1 tip was for new teachers if they were to go back and be in their first year of teaching again. And even though I've never been a teacher, I got hundreds of responses from both newer teachers as well as experienced educators sharing some helpful insights into the classroom and how to manage their classroom, how to get more out of their students, and how to build better parent-teacher relationships. So a big bonus for those that contribute to your piece is that you can feature them and then as a result, start to build a longer-term relationship to going to them as an extra source or extra insight into a particular key question that you have. It's a super easy way to create content super fast that's still incredibly valuable to your audience. The reality is that when you pull a lot of insights from different industry experts into one place, they're going to feel super special and they're going to share that resource that you create with all of their friends, family, and their professional networks. So it's going to be a super easy way for you as well to build backlinks to your asset and build up its authorities in the search rankings. The third tip I have for you is to create a survey that's on an interesting topic in your space and then be the source. What I mean by that is I want you to think about a pain point that your space often has and what sort of things might be related to that pain point. Let's say I was a realtor and I wanted to appeal to first-time home buyers. Well, in that case, I might pull up my Rolodex of my previous first-time home buying clients and I might ask them a simple 3-question survey. The questions I've prepped here are, on a scale of 1 to 7, how confident were you in the home buying process the first time you bought a home? The next question I prepped was, on a scale of 1 to 7, I felt my realtor's market expertise helped me save money on my first home purchase. And finally, if you'd be so kind to share, how did I help you in your home buying experience? So from asking our past first-time buyers these particular questions, we would get a ton of different responses that we could then create into cool visuals, percentages, infographics, as well as potential testimonials. You'll notice that that third question was, how did I help you most in terms of the home buying experience? So that could be something in which once you have a few sound bites in terms of great things that people have to say about you, you can put those into a simple one-pager or a web page of testimonials and reviews from your past clients. In the case where you own an agency, you could expand this survey to every single agent in your agency. From there, you would get a ton more data points and you'd be able to get a lot more analysis and insights into your particular space. Wouldn't it be cool if you saw another real estate company citing that 93% of first-time home buyers found that their realtor's expertise helped them in the buying process and that you were the source of that? Comment below if you think that would be super cool. Either way, the reason why this tip is so cool is because you're building up your authority in your space while also not necessarily having to do a ton of external research. The fourth tip that I have for creating content super fast is to repurpose your old content. Let's say that you had made that authoritative post answering a key question that your customers had from the first tip. Well, in this case, what you could do next is you could create an audio version of that same exact post, or you could create a quick video explaining more about this particular post. So without doing that much additional work, we're able to actually just convert the format that the original content was created in into another format. By creating these different formats of whether it being an audio file as a podcast or as an audio file that can be played on your site, you are creating a different method for your customer to connect with you. The fifth tip I have for creating content fast is to create more opportunities for your customers to give you content. This builds on some of the earlier tips, but essentially what I want you to do is anytime your customers give you an unsolicited testimonial, do yourself a favor by asking them if you could use what they just shared with you in any potential marketing materials. Why might I want to do this from a content marketing lens? Well, the reason why is because let's say, for example, we're a company that wants to push more of our premium package as opposed to our basic plan. What we might do is we might collect 3 testimonials from our premium customers that used to be on the basic plan. Then we create a one-pager that we could position as something along the lines of why premium will blow your mind. Simply by creating these testimonials in a one-pager for potential customers, we could start giving this page to every single potential basic customer as well as new prospective customers to help them more seriously consider paying for the premium package as opposed to the basic package at the beginning of their journey. So this can help to improve your upselling process as well as increase your customer lifetime value over time because you're giving these new customers as well as your already existing customers a few different relatable stories from other customers of yours that previously used just the basic package, but then upgraded into the premium plan. I'll get more into customer loyalty strategies as well as customer retention strategies in future videos, but if you want to see those faster, just leave me a comment below so that I know how to prioritize the upcoming videos. The sixth tip I have for you when it comes to creating content super fast is to create content that can be templated. What I mean by that is it could be something like a weekly customer success story, or it could be something like questions to frequently ask before you purchase XYZ. Whatever the case may be, it's something that you can put consistently out there for your potential and your existing customers. A quick example is back in high school, I used to sell these study guides for history class. And what I'd do is I would take the assigned readings that our teachers had given us and I'd synthesize all of these 30 pages into something that could be consumed in 2 or 3 pages. So these 2 or 3 pages would have a simple template that was consistent over time. It would have things like key terms, key questions that I thought that our teachers could potentially ask on quizzes, as well as key concepts and other trinkets from prior periods of time that we had been studying. So over time, what this allowed me to do was it allowed me to create a base template of key concepts, key people, key events, and so on that I could reuse for all the future units of study guides that I was selling. What this allowed me to do was it allowed me to significantly cut down on my production time while also creating a consistent experience for my customers. The same applies when it comes to content marketing. If you're trying to create content super fast, it can be super helpful to create series of posts that relate to one another and follow a consistent theme. If, for example, you're trying to tell more customer stories, it might come in the format of 5 key questions that you have prepped for every single customer. By asking these questions up front with all of your customers and collecting the same core responses, it'll allow you way more flexibility in terms of scheduling out your posts ahead of time if, for example, you were doing a 4 or 8 week campaign. Building templates for your content marketing and your content efforts is going to be immensely helpful if you're ever going to consider hiring content writers or outsourcing your content marketing. The 7th tip that I have for you when it comes to creating content super fast is to create your content in batches. Let's say you took that survey idea and you took it a step further. Well, what you might want to do is you might want to scale that survey idea to 3 different survey groups, not just the first-time home buyer, but also the second-time home buyer or the 5th-time home buyer, and so on. In this situation, what we can do is we can send out this survey for 3 different audience groups and collect all of those responses at the same time. The benefit of this is that once we have all those responses collected, we can spend a single day analyzing all the data and statistics that we've aggregated, which will allow us to save time and also create some cool insights about different cohorts of data. So by doing this in a batch fashion in which we are collecting 3 surveys and running them concurrently with each other, we are saving ourselves time while creating 3 times the amount of content at once. Pretty cool. If we think ahead and batch our surveys into 3 key phases of survey collection, data analysis, and then releasing of our results, then we are able to significantly increase the amount of content we're creating and also start building out a schedule for our viewers and our customers to look forward to reading about these particular results. I use the same process when it comes to this YouTube channel. I do my keyword research all on one day, do my video planning and recording on another day, and then editing in another stage of the process. So by batching everything, I can stay focused on one task at hand and significantly improve my output as a result. My 8th tip when it comes to creating content fast is to follow the patterns of success. What I want you to do is I want you to think about a really cool content marketing piece or marketing piece that you've seen in the last year. Then ask yourself, how could I make this even better? And from there, I want you to create that even better piece. A quick example is a few years ago, I saw a trending Reddit post in which an educator had put together 30 educational grant opportunities for other teachers to check out. And what this did was it allowed these teachers to essentially find easy ways to fund different things for their classrooms. So what I did, because I saw this was a trending post over time, was I went ahead and I wrote an article brief, and then I sourced a writer to do research and find 75 educational grant opportunities. What I also did was I made sure that these 75 educational grant opportunities were better categorized and organized than the original post. Then what I did was I posted this back out onto Reddit as well as to our customers and prospects and used it as an asset for them in their discovery and their buying process. So simply by taking a step back and looking at what was already working in the space, I was able to create an authoritative and helpful post for the particular targeted audience. If you know that it's already been a hit, then you should just try to make something that's even better than that existing hit. This is known as the skyscraper strategy, and it was popularized by Brian Dean. This video is a perfect example. I'm not the first person to make a video on how to create content fast, but I do think that I'm making one of the better ones. Throw me a like if you agree with me there. The 9th tip to creating super fast content is to share your personal experiences. You've got some life experiences that your customers would love to hear about. The reason why people like to shop at mom and pop shops is because it gives them a homey feel and they're not part of massive corporations. There's a reason why every year during the Super Bowl, major beer brands such as Budweiser are trying to tell you a super sentimental story in their 1-minute ads. Stories sell. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about any stories that you love to tell your friends or family about your business, or even just stories that you tell customers all the time, and then create it in a format that works for you. That could be a video format, that could be a long post format, whatever the case may be. It might be something where you tell the story of your favorite customers and what makes them so special. Or it may be the case where you want to talk about your worst customer experiences. Whatever the case may be, just share those stories and try to help others understand where you're coming at from your lens. In fact, I'm doing it right now as I tell you some past experiences of how I've created content fast. There you have it, 9 tips when it comes to how to create content super fast and jumpstart your content marketing. There are 2 big takeaways I want you to remember when it comes to this video. The first one is I want you to focus most of your effort on the low-hanging fruit. These are oftentimes actually the highest value add materials that you can make from the get-go. The second takeaway I want you to remember is to follow the patterns of success and always be thinking about how to batch your content into series or templates. By doing so, you're going to save yourself a ton of time and also be able to give your customers and your prospective customers sustained value over time, because they're going to be able to expect to hear from you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever schedule you set. Now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments below which tip you found most helpful when it comes to making content super fast. Or if you have your own idea that you found super helpful in the past, share it so that others, as well as myself in the community, can learn from you. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button if you haven't already, because it helps more people find this video and helps those people learn about how to create content super fast. And share it with anybody that you think might be able to learn a thing or two and hone their content marketing strategy. Lastly, since you've made it so far into this video, it's obvious that you're interested in topics like these, so I'd love it if you consider subscribing and hit that notification bell to get new videos every single week. I teach you the real-world business skills that you didn't learn in school to help you go from zero to self-starter. That's it for this time though. I will see you guys next time, in which I'm gonna dig even deeper into tip number 4 and teach you how to repurpose your content. I'll see you guys there.